I watched one of your YouTube essays about...
Oh, what was it? Was it a Dakota?
No. It was like...
An old video?
An older video about... Because I was like just going through, and I was like... And this popped out to me. It's like having a biracial kid.
Oh my God.
And I thought that was so thoughtful.
Oh, yeah.
And I always think about like... we did a thing with the Washington Post where they talked about mixed couples, and they interviewed us, and there's this idea that you touch on where like having mixed kids, not only are they beautiful and incredible, but they represent this symbol of like a progress, like a post scarcity civilization type of thing. And I always I think you did mention this in your video where like, oh no, we did do that, but it was a symbol of slavery.
Yeah,
actually, like we tried that, and
it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work. I thought.
Well, it's also just like that logic is also so flawed to me, because it's this idea that like, well, if you can have sex with someone, that means that you respect them, and it's like, have you ever met a college student?
Yeah.
Like, I have slept with many people I did not respect.
Yeah,
it's not, like that's not how
that's another element too. I didn't even think of it like that.
Yeah, like so people will be like, I can't be racist. I've slept with a black girl or whatever, and it's like, yeah, but how many misogynists also sleep with women? Like that doesn't mean anything.
Or how many rapists?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, let's just be real.
Yeah, it's not a proxy for respect. Like that's not how it works.
I love a lot of those ideas if you just think about them and reflect on them. Where people they simply don't. You're like, wait, this logic, like something that feels really logical, and then you sort of tease it apart, and you're like, wait, no, or put it in a different context. For example, there's a viral TikTok video where this man asks this woman and asks her, a black man asks a white woman, says, hey, like, what makes you qualified to speak on men issues?
Yeah,
You remember
that's
this?
Liz Plank. That's my friend.
Oh,
yeah,
sick.
The podcast is called like Man Enough or something.
Man
like
Enough,
that.
yeah.
No, it's a 1 hour outfit. I'm just saying.
1 hour.
Yeah. It's like my bladder.
I love Liz Plank. She's really fantastic. She wrote a book called For the Love of Men, and it's about disabling masculinity and patriarchy. She's really great.
That sounds like a book we would love to read on this show.
Yeah, she's really great.
Absolutely, Liz Plank.
Yeah, I was just talking about.
I'm hopping in, but you know.
Yeah. Just people.
That the guy was asking her, how do you feel qualified to speak about men?
You're like, and the logic behind that is so absurd,
if it's
right?
been a viral clip, and she was like, the same thing that qualifies you to speak about like,
whiteness. Yeah.
So Liz is a really good friend of mine, an incredible author. Where did I meet Liz? I met her in New York. There's this thing called Internet Week. I don't know if they still have it anymore, but I was working as a social media person at a startup, and I met her at an Internet Week party, and we've stayed friends, and
that's so dope.
She's incredible.
I think that's just a perfect, we were talking about this video I saw that Franchesca did on mixed couple or mixed like babies basically. And like how people are like, oh, they're so beautiful, and how and that idea, if you follow that logic through it, basically there's this assumption that like mixed couples represent like a post-racial society, except you're like, okay, let's follow that. All right, so does that mean that slavery in the American South was a post-racial society because we had a bunch of mixed, and it's just when you follow logic, and I think of like a lot of like that question was sort of a dumb question if that guy had just reflected, where he's like, what gives you the right to speak about men?
Right.
And then he should have
pulled out a pretty viral moment.
It did. I mean, I think he meant it as a serious question. It seemed like his tone was a serious tone.
I think it was an attempt at a gotcha.
Yeah.
It was an attempt at a gotcha.
Yeah.
But it was illogical, right? It was such an illogical,
but
if you just follow his thought process through.
But I think that you touch on like something that you see a lot online, and I think it's a symptom of like our faulty education system, that a lot of people use very flawed logic, and they think like, I got you. Like, and a lot of times that's what I do too, is I'm like, explain it to me.
Yeah, or let's follow. Let's follow through. Let's follow this through, right?
Yeah.
Like,
My favorite is like when people say things like they comment on my content and they're like, you're wasting your time with this thing. And I'm like, well, then by your logic, you're also wasting your time by telling me that I'm wasting my time.
Let's talk about wasting time. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's talk about wasting time.
So let's talk about wasting time.
You are investing your time in what I'm doing. Or don't you have better things to do? Don't you have better things to do than worrying about what I'm doing?
Yep.
This doesn't make sense.
I mean, they're fourth graders. Yes. But yes, that's annoying.
Yeah, but I like.
I think they're like, I'm hurting you by telling you this thing that you're doing is a waste of time.
Well, I think the reason I brought it up is because I think Ben makes a really good point that a lot of people are guilty of using this flawed logic, because if it reinforces your own beliefs, then you're not as likely to actually investigate what it is that you're saying. So this guy who's challenging Liz Plank is like, how are you going to speak on men? He's not actually investigating what he's saying because he's already decided she's not an authority. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
It wasn't a real question.
It wasn't. Right. Exactly. It is. It's not a good faith question. Meaning, it's not a question actually seeking an answer. It's a question formed to just reinforce what you already believe or position yourself as an authority on whatever it is you're talking about. And you're not actually asking to like get an understanding or see another perspective.
But she fucked up because she had an answer.
Yeah.
My girl.
She had the answer.
It was great. Yeah. It was great. Let's listen to...
you want to get to it?
Yeah.
I also don't know if we marinated after Imperfect Parent. Did we? I think we did, but I can't remember.
No, just...
We'll figure it out. Okay, we got 2 little fun segments left. You ready?
Yeah.
I'll say this on air. The next segment of our show... Sorry. Okay. I was like, who, me?
I'm sorry. You're going to have to do that again.
No. I'm glad you said something.
Yeah. I'm
sorry,
taking
Daniel.
it seriously.
You are. You're kicking ass.
I like to joke a lot, and Amber's like, when you have guests, like just like take it a little bit more seriously. Right?
No, I say that about like the slouching.
Yeah, or just like presentation.
Yeah, just
like a coffee cup.
Oh my God,
like,
our last episode, it was like a cough drop, just going and going. I was just like,
all right, I'm sorry.
You're kicking ass. You're beautiful.